Hey there, how you doing? So it's Fatmarrow here, and what I'm looking at the moment is a little something that the ground branch devs are looking into, which is voice commands for ground branch. So this is quite specific to a specific game, specifically. Um, so yeah, ground branch. I mean, I'm talking to people who probably play it again, so you already know this, but there's lots of things being worked on at the moment. It's a small team, but they're sort of doing all this stuff. And there was a request for voice commands for people who can't use the normal voice, for example, because of a disability, or whatever, or just preference. So some people put their heads together and came up with a list of commands that might be useful, based, for example, on experience of other games, and also historically things like the infiltration mod for Unreal Tournament 99, which is something that a lot of people played before coming to Ground Branch, as it's a similar sort of thing. And let's just say that. So there's a short list of commands which some people are going to record. Pardon me, it's the Magical Burping YouTube channel. And so here's a short list of things which might come in useful. To maybe bind to a key or stick on a radial menu, that kind of thing. The precise form it's going to take is not yet certain, and I am not myself making those calls, but I thought I'd help out by trying to bash these into concepts, so to try and minimize the number of keys needed, so you can have similar concepts on the same key, maybe in a radial menu, whatever. This is just my attempt to put some sense on this. So some things are movement commands or movement statuses, and some things are more to do with engagement with the enemy, and there's a few other things like direction to specify where things are. So this is the list I've used to record a little bit, and it's very exciting, and I love the sound of my own voice. And what this is a program called Reason, which is a DAW. No, not something you open. Well, I suppose you could open it if it's a package, but it's a DAW, Digital Audio Workstation. It's like Audacity on steroids. It's making music. It does a hell of a lot of stuff. It's been called the Fisher Price of DAWs because it's bright and colourful. It is fun to use, but it's now caught up and has basically heavyweight features that you'd expect. Everything you could do in an 80s or 90s recording studio is in this package, apart from talent, which I lack. But today I'm using this for its properties as a sound editor, which is just one of the things it does. It does do some clever things, like if you click on this recording, it will automatically work out the beginning and ends of sections of the audio. So if I just play this. Friendly. I don't know if you heard that. Let me just see if you did. If you can't, that's pointless. Alright, it's not recording the desktop for some reason. Why is that not happening? Let's try that one more time. Okay, don't know what's going on there. If you can't hear what it's doing, that's pointless. Just give me a second, I'll be right back. Jump cut! So, I've fixed my audio problem. So here we go. Here's me being a gravel-voiced, badass CIA special ops operative.
Hold your fire. Hold your fire. Hold your.
Really intimidating stuff. Yeah, so I'll cut to the chase. So here I am. I recorded everything 3 times, and I've taken the best thing.
Friendly.
Well, not good, but just best. And I'll just do a bit of that, and then I'll
Friendly.
show you what I'm doing with that.
Hold your fire. Hold your fire. Hold your fire.
Ooh, which do we like best? The urgency of the second two, or the clarity of the first one?
Hold your fire. Hold your fire. Hold your fire.
I don't like the second two, so it's going to be the first one. I'm just doing this approximately at the moment. I can have a look at my transients later to get a more precise thing. And all I'm doing is just labelling this up, and then when I'm done with these, which I nearly am, I will assemble them and save them out separately, which will be tedious, probably,
Need help. Need help. Need help.
Gosh, I did need help. I do need help.
Need help. Need help. Need help.
Actually, that sounds like I am dying, but I'm going to go with this one. These are just placeholders to give a few different voices so that the devs can test the feature. And then, I don't know if they're going to get voice artists or similar, or just crowdsource this stuff, but it's a bit of fun. There we go. So how's it sound?
Need help.
There we go. I need help.
Need help. Taking fire. Taking fire. Taking fire.
Those are all a bit rubbish.
Taking fire. Taking fire.
Just a placeholder, so we'll go with that one. Okay, so that's the last of those. The rest of it was quite boring, I can assure you, so I've saved you some time. Now, when I do another cut, let's just get these all moved to there. Maybe I'm going to... Oh, what's that doing now? Speed this up. There we go, speed up, speed up, speed up. Right, welcome back. So here we are, here's the recordings all in a row.
Contact. Front. Right. Left. Rear. North. East. South. West. Tango down. Covering. Suppressing fire. Clear. Man down. Affirmative. Negative. Roger that. Hold. Moving up. Moving. Follow me. On you. Go. Go, go, go. Pull back. Open fire. Friendly. Hold your fire. Need help. Taking fire.
Yay. The go, go, go was not on the list, but I couldn't help myself. Right, so because it's not clear what processing is going to be done where and when, so these might all be pre-processed before they're loaded into Unreal. But I think there will be, pardon me, and pardon me again, there will be some processing at runtime, because these are going to sound differently if it's somebody saying it next to you in real life, no, not real life, physically next to you, or whether you're going to hear it over a radio. So there will be a sort of radio squelch effect put on things, or there will be a sort of local sound. Now maybe this is done by having two sets of samples, one processed for radio and one for local. That's probably going to be the most efficient. I don't know what the cost is of the audio filters and exactly what it can do in Unreal. There's some low frequency attenuation, which is a high pass filter. No, I was right the first time. Low pass filter, which you can easily stick on things. There may be some other effects you can do. So I really want to give them clean samples. Now, there isn't such a thing as a clean sample. The microphone you use, the room you recorded in, the levels you have, how near it is to your face, these all make a difference. And I was recording this on top of a wooden table, so it's not ideal. And I was recording these very close to my mouth to mimic the effect of a radio. Now, my sort of English accent probably isn't very operator. But yeah, there's things you can do anyway. But
Contact. Front.
let's bring up a mixer, because what I want to do is at least get the levels right. I normally have this on both my monitors, which is, oh you beast, not going to work on this video, so I don't think I want to do that. Anyway, so this is a, oh, right, that's going to be annoying. Bear with me, I want to put that back in. Go back in. No? Mixer. There we go, it's back in. This is a... Ignore that bit. Well, it's fun. This basically simulates a rack. You can turn things around and plug things in. It's an awful lot of fun. But I'm not doing that now. I'm going to go to the mixer, which models a... models a proper mixing desk. So there's things you can do to make lots of music sound nice, like that lovely master compressor. Anyway, I digress. So what I want is this. Oh, this is very horrible to use on one monitor. Alright, so this is my ground branch commands. There we go, so it's the yellow one. So there is an inbuilt compressor on this thing. I don't want to maximize it. I'm not very good at the audio stuff. I mean, it's fun. I want to bring it up and not distort it. Let's look at the levels again. I'm just going to make this a loop, if I remember how. That's the one. Alright. Turn on the loop. So it's just going to loop through all this
Contact,
stuff.
front, right,
While I'm
left,
talking
rear,
to you,
north,
hopefully.
east, south,
Oh, it's a bit
west,
loud. Let's
tango
just turn
down,
that down.
covering, suppressing fire.
So
clear,
you can hear
man
me.
down, affirmative, negative,
Pardon
hold,
me.
moving up,
So
moving, follow me. On
what are we
you.
going to do?
Go.
So there's
Go,
the
go,
basic
go.
level.
Pull back. Open fire.
It is a little bit
Friendly.
low, but you
Hold
see
your
here
fire.
it is
Need help. Taking
clipping
fire.
a bit.
Contact, front, right, left, rear.
So I
north,
want to
east, south, west,
normalise that a
tango
bit.
down,
Now I can
covering,
totally cheat
suppressing fire.
by
Clear,
using the
man
default
down, affirmative,
mastering
negative,
thing,
roger that. Hold, moving
which
up,
will now
moving. Follow me.
give a very
On you.
steady level.
Go, 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 go. Pull back.
If I put on the
Open
master
fire.
compressor,
Friendly. Hold your fire.
it'll give a
Need
bit more
help.
punch.
Taking
So
fire.
without doing any
Contact,
actual things,
front, right, left,
I've kind of
rear,
equalised
north,
the levels
east,
a bit.
south, west, tango down, covering,
It's a bit
suppressing
bassy.
fire.
Now
Clear,
if I was
man
going
down,
to...
affirmative, negative, roger that,
Yeah,
hold,
easy to do.
moving
It's one
up,
of these.
moving,
If I was going
follow
to
me,
actually
on
try
you.
something like
Go,
a
go, 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 pull back, open fire, friendly,
a
hold
radio
your fire.
effect,
Need
there's
help.
a few things you can
Taking
do. There's
fire.
lots of different ways to
Contact,
do it.
front, right,
There's one
left, rear, north,
thing which
east,
might
south,
actually do it.
west, tango down, covering, suppressing fire. Clear, man down, affirmative, negative, roger that, hold,
So there we
moving
go.
up, moving, follow me, on you.
And we can stack
Go,
these things,
go,
so
go,
I
go,
can then...
pull back, open fire, friendly, hold your fire.
It doesn't
Need
really
help.
sound like a radio
Taking
radio,
fire.
does it?
Contact, front, right, left.
It's been a while
rear,
since I've done this.
North, east, south, west, tango down, covering,
So
suppressing
that's
fire. Clear, man down, affirmative,
a bit more...
negative, roger that, hold, moving up, moving, follow me, on you, go,
Yeah,
go, go,
maybe.
go, pull back, open fire, friendly, hold your fire, need help, taking fire, contact, front, right, left,
Okay,
rear,
so you get the
north,
gist.
east, south.
You can process that. So I'm going to export those individually, and maybe that'll make it into another version. But there are some guys in America doing this, and they're obviously going to sound much more operator and CIA and American and badass, and yeah. But maybe I can audition for some sort of, upper class general sending the troops in to their death. Maybe we need that as a voice command. Anyway, right, so I'm going to jump back to something else, which is this. I've done some more work on my on-tube level. I need to put in a few drain pipes and stuff. I've got a little bit of vegetation put in, token amounts really. A few little avenues. Now this has been baked, I think, with a preview lightmap. So it looks a little better, but what I'm now going to deal with is the issue of lightmaps for big meshes like this. And they are a flipping nightmare. They are just a pain in the rear. And it's partly because Lightwave does crap lightmaps. At least as far as I've made it work. I mean, I am a workman and I am blaming my tools. Maybe it is I who is the tool. Okay, so let's look at some typical things where the lightmap's gone and it looks shit. So let's ignore the fact that the mesh texturing is rubbish. Also, there's little bits of blobs of light. So if you're new to doing this in Unreal, you might get these sort of things happening and going, why does it look so crazy? That's okay. You can see it's actually got a seam there and a seam there. Lightmap, when it does lightmaps for Lightwave, when it does lightmaps for circular things, tends to chop it into sort of 4 pieces because it sucks basically. So there's an odd light patch there, and what that is the UVs sort of overlapping, the light maps overlapping. Pardon me. I mean, I drink a lot of fizzy drinks. I eat a lot of food that makes me burp. I should really stop doing that if I'm going to pursue a very, very serious career in YouTube videos for niche markets like Unreal. Anyway, so this mesh has let's see if it's defined here. It has, alright, it's over here then. This mesh has, the minimum lightmaps resolution is just for importing. I've set it to 1024 lightmap resolution, which is fairly big in the scheme of things, but it is a fairly big mesh. I mean, that's a big bit of real estate inside the editor. But I think I can make it work, but my default light map is no good. And here's the UVs, that's the textures, and here's the light map UVs, which, you know, you can see it's not ideal. So I'm just going to go back to here, see if I can spot a few more problems with the light map. You can see it's quite low resolution. But my drain pipes are usually terrible because, as I said, Lightwave chops them up into 4 pieces. You can see there's a big sort of seam there. I might need to fix that texturing. That's not my priority. This is by the way, this is a mesh that I've just added on. It's a small little fiddly mesh, but what I'm going to do is make this all these instanced meshes. I think I told you before, I just can't say that term. It's really annoying. And so hopefully, I mean, they'll render in one batch and they'll hopefully be nice and quick. And those little lanterns are ubiquitous. I mean, there's tons of them, tons and tons and tons of them. So if I don't make them instance meshes, they're going to cause a bit of a slowdown. But hopefully they will look good and work well. So another bit where you've got this mystery blob. Actually, it's not a mystery blob, that is the lantern. So in fact, that is understandable. You can see there's that dark stuff, the dark seam there. What's happening there is that though these surfaces are contiguous, whatever you'd call it, Lightwave does not recognize them as such, partly because they don't have the same points. So that one ends there, and there's a point there, and that one ends there, there's a point there. And Lightwave hasn't figured out that they are kind of the same surface. And there's ways to deal with that. I'll come to. The light map there looks a bit crap. I think that's because another bit of overlap there and overlap there. It's difficult to light this side of the mesh because it's all indirect lighting. If I was to whack the light map quality, no, the lighting quality to something other than preview, I mean production would be best, but high or medium would have an effect. Take a lot longer, but you would start to see more variation in the lighting because it would start working out the indirect lighting and the ambient occlusion a little better. But where the harsh sun is, you see more artifacts because the contrast is bigger. There was another spot here. I mean, that looks rubbish. And so must be some reason why that's happening. So let's go into Lightwave and look at that bit and see what's going on. I haven't quite finished adding my drain pipes, which are a separate layer. But here we are. So there is the offending balcony. Let's switch to the UV view and let's switch to light map. Let's take off the background. Okay, so overall pretty poor. There's a ton of space that's not used. It does this thing where it goes to smaller and smaller things and it puts them really close. So that's going to cause an overlap because even though that's 1,000 pixels across, when you get to this resolution, it just overlaps. And what I tend to do is fix it in various ways I'll come back to. So why does this balcony look so terrible? Well, there's the bottom bit of it. There. And what's there? Okay, so interestingly, because I basically sliced that original front of the house and then sort of lofted this bit up, it kept it as the same surface. So one quick fix. So because that is immediately adjacent to that, and that's not exactly on a pixel boundary, and Lightwave has no way that I can tell of getting light maps aligned to pixel boundaries, which is really annoying. I'm going to have to separate that out because that's going to be dark, that's going to be light, and there's going to be, well, what we saw in fact. So one way to do that is just to select all of this stuff and sort of lifted off the other mesh, which should have the effect of fixing that problem. I do it up here too, because I see that's the same problem. Why don't I just do it this way and select it on the UVs? That'll be easier. Right, so that's basically all that. Cut and paste it. It's the easy way to do it in Lightwave, I think. So if I now expose all the levels, oh dear, I'm tired. I'm always tired and I forget what I'm talking about. So I'm going to make the light map. This is how I do it in Lightwave. It's no relevance to you because you'd probably do something else in a more sensible package. I have a minimum 200% relative gap size, but it still leaves these massive gaps. Anyway, let's see what happens. Oh yes, I need to select everything. It's having a think. So now this balcony is somewhere else. So that's going to fix that particular problem. And that's just a big gap in there. I could put something in there if I wanted to. So that's going to fix that problem. Now what else looked rubbish apart from everything? So what I find is easiest to do is to make the light map the sort of rubbish way, and then rather than make everything better, just find the bits that don't work and fix them. But there are lots of things that I can do. It's just so much work. It's so horrible. So what I do is actually just things like take all those small ones out, put them somewhere else, and then space them out a bit, or so these will be a pixel across for each with a smear over other things. So that will make those render properly, and you can see it's quite a lot of work. So I then do things like select every other thing there, and these are minor things that I don't need to worry about so much. Just lift them out. And sometimes I need to unweld them because they're attached to things and drag other points around. But this is an easy way, if tedious, just to get things a bit better. I want to leave a bit of space because I'm going to add some drain pipes and just add them in separately, and then I may add other things later, and it's just easiest just to whack them in make a light map for those particular things, just ease them into a spare spot on the overall light map. So that's the kind of thing I end up doing to fix light maps horrible, light waves horrible light maps. So there you go. So that's not working. I'm just going to unweld that and then move it, and then perhaps, oh, that would be the rotate. Just move that a bit off. That's a funny thing. Is that gonna? That's fine. So there's actually, when you get down to the detail, a lot of spare space in the light map, and I'm just manually fixing it. I don't think I should have to do this. I bet other programs do this a lot better. If you're watching this and you're familiar with other programs, please just tell me I'm just persevering with a rubbish program. I hope it's not this hard for everyone. And I will fix a few specific things since I'm at that level of detail. So one of the worst things was this stuff. So what's going on there? I think that's there. Now I have to find it. There we are. So I mean, look at that. So these things obviously overlapping into there. Let's go back here. You can now see a bit. Well, it doesn't really make sense. You can see a bit that might even be actually properly. No, where's the sun? No. So that's just an overlap. So what I've got to do is just go through and move all these. I could also just resize it, which means it'll be a less accurate light map, but that probably won't solve that problem. So I put that there. Let's see what else. I mean, I think there's some ones I can remove. I don't need that face, do I? And as I go through this process, I do find I can get rid of a few things while I'm doing it. I mean, I don't need that one, that's for sure. And you get the drift. So light map editing for me is extremely tedious. You basically fix a few things, fix the worst things, rebuild it in Unreal, look for problems, and iterate. So I'm just going to export that. I Actually, I'm going to solve one more problem, which is that particular bit of that door. That's just a, I certainly want to fix the most glaring errors, and I might come back to it and fix some more later. But I'm aiming for good enough at this point, and I'll work on it more if I've got time. But there's an awful lot to do. So there we are. That's somewhere down there. I see you. So I'm in the middle of a thing? No. Yes, I'm in the middle of a thing. But there's a ton of space there. So, these are from the hinges for the shutters. There's a lot of these things. So I tend not to bother with those because they're pretty dark metallic things. It's hard to see a problem anyway unless you're really close. So the dark materials I just ignore. So I'm going to rebuild that, and you can at least see that I've hopefully cured those, and I'll come back to you if I can find the stop button. There we go. Bye bye. Alright, so I've rebuilt Tango Down. I've rebuilt the I just love those. Go, go, go! I'm completely distracting myself. So I've rebuilt the mesh, and those glaring things have gone. So that now looks alright, even if it's a bit crap. And this edge here we fixed. You can see it's not pretty, but it's not glaringly wrong. And the balcony, ta-da! There we go. So it's not necessarily very high resolution, this light map. You can see that join's a bit ugly, but you don't get that odd bit of light there where it's sort of leaking in. So there's a lot of work still to do. I mean, you can see lots of other errors. They didn't go away. So there on that windowsill, and there and there. Now, oh look, that's a proper error. So when it goes orange, it's gone a bit wrong. Something's overlapping. That happens. Lightwave shouldn't do it, but it does sometimes if things aren't perpendicular. So it was around there. So what's going on there? Oh yeah, that's actually a terrible bit of mesh work. I adjusted it, but it was at an angle already, so that might be overlapping. Yeah, sorry about that. So I think, yeah, my inspired model making has not worked very well. Yeah, I'm embarrassed by that one. I'm going to just cheat and okay, so there's no overlap now. Ideally that would be continuous. That should just about work. So that won't now create that error, but that is basically a sign that you've got something even more wrong, rather than just having things packed closely together. There's another error. So I could fix these individually, but that's the thing. You've seen the process. So my main point is see these odd things and recognize that they are just kind of simple things going wrong with your light map. It might all look fine, but actually bear in mind that if you were to overlay your light map onto a grid of your pixel sizes, you might find that more than one bit of light map occupies the same pixel, and that's why you get the problems. I mean, again, Lightwave makes UVs in a terrible way. It doesn't make it. It just makes lots and lots and lots of tiny UV islands. They're called lots of these separate blobs. Other programs are better at sort of creating a wraparound building and combining lots of different bits of polygons into the single UV island. The unwrapping works better, but in Lightwave's defense, buildings don't do that very well. I mean, they're the most resistant to that working because there are lots of big discontinuous bits and lots of angles, and I want it to be discontinuous to give it a sharp edge. But yeah, so hopefully you can see I've now filled in all these blinds on the buildings, and the structure's more or less there. There's things that I could do, like put something in there, but there's a balustrade I'm adding in the editor, so you can't see much anyway. Where's it gone? So there we go. I've done that separately because I have to, well, I don't have to. I've decided to lod this down, level of detail. So when you get a little bit away, it vastly reduces the number of polygons it draws. There you go. There's the seamless transition between the two. At still polygons, I could actually replace it with a single sheet of masked material, which is what I've done for other things. So this is, I think, just the masked material and nothing more, but zoom, 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 zoom. These fences were one of the first things I did. When you get up close, they actually do have three-dimensional structure. I wish I'd done them thicker so you could see that more easily. And when you move away, it jumps to a masked texture. And actually, because it's a dark texture, I don't think you can even see the transition, but there is one. So I was quite pleased with that. So that's so many polygons there. You have to do that sort of thing. In other cases, I just went with the mask material. This one is only polygons. I haven't got a mask material for that. I mean, it's harder to do it when it's three-dimensional like that. There was a bit of balcony somewhere that was really super. Where it is. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So this is now just the mask material. I tried it with LODs, so that it would be 3D up close and then it would disappear to a mask. But the transition was very obvious because it was quite a light material, and this texture repeats, so the same patterns repeat. And actually, it was a pain to get that all to line up when it was all done in one piece. But yeah, it's all right. And what I was going to do for this actually was going to put on a normal map that would be slanting away at the sides, and I think that will actually give it quite a 3D look in the similar way that zoom, 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 zoom. Ooh, look down there. Where's it gone? This one. That this material on this door generates a normal map from the height map, and it looks ugly, yes, but you can see that there's a three-dimensionality to it, and that was obtained quite cheaply. Yeah, so there's one more category of things I'm going to mess about with the light maps. One thing that comes up a lot is sort of cylinders of various kinds. Oh, that is horrible. I'm going to have to fix that. Lightwave doesn't do normals and tangents very well when it imports it, because it doesn't do smoothing groups. You just define a smoothing angle in the material. You get this stuff, and I hate it. But this looks absolutely horrible. That's basically a cylinder that's been distorted or extruded, I forget which, beveled maybe. And my drain pipes are examples of these things. That one looks all right actually, though there's a texture seam, but quite often they have funny light maps. And so what I do for cylindrical things, I'll just try and fix that blob. I actually just manually create a cylindrical light map and then scale it down to fit into the rest of them. So I know the top bit's not going to work. In fact, top bit you can unweld. I'm going to re-weld it when I'm done with the rest. Everything else is at least partly tangential to an axis going through the middle of it. Basically everything else will or should work if I do a cylindrical light map. So I'm going to select cylindrical on the y-axis, see what happens, and there you go. That's a nice, quite well behaved light map. So I'm now going to just squish it down. It's a really small detail. I don't care how big it is. I don't care if it's only got 2 pixels on it. I just want it to be continuous so you don't get those seams. So that's quite small. I've definitely got the space for that, plus I'm being stingy. And the top bit is problematic. That's going to look crap, but if I make that relatively big, it should blend more nicely. So planar Y, yeah, why not? So there we go. Zoink. And if I keep those relatively big in the light map, there's a better chance they'll blend together nicely. Maybe make that a bit bigger, comparable in size, which is a luxury. So again, it's a problematic bit of the light map. I'm going to make it disproportionately big in the hope, and I'm merging it again, so we've got that smoothness again, in the hope that it'll work nicely. So and then a drain pipe, I just go into my drain pipe layers, so you can see all the light map bits of the drain pipes, and you can see that well, can you see? If I select a single drain pipe, that's what it's done to it. So it's put a bit of the pipe there, a bit of the pipe there and there. I mean, that's basically crap, isn't it? So what I do is I just select the whole thing, go cylindrical, there we go. Maybe I won't do the top bit because that's not working so well. Need a better view. Again, the cylindrical map it's utterly inflexible. I may have to unweld that just to make sure it works. So that's now completely straightforward. I'm going to bring in other layers as a background so I can see where I'm going. And there we go. And so I'll probably do that for all of them, which will free up some spaces elsewhere to expand things out in other parts. That's not what I wanted to do, nor that. I want to re-merge those. Doesn't matter, I mean they're at the top of the building, you can't see what's going on anyway. Doesn't really matter that the top bits look crap, but I could also, well no, they'll just stay as they are. And so I'll also do that for the drain pipes, so that one should make it better. And I'll do one more time lapse so you can see how it looks when I've built that again. So you can see that little post top. What are we going to call it? Come on. This thing here. So before it's built, looks alright. I mean, it's not pretty, but looks alright. Oh, there's a sort of horrible. Okay, so the normals are kind of fucking up. And this, I think it's a Lightwave thing. There's a quick fix for that, which is basically to lose the smoothing. It's the smoothing that makes it do that because it's not some approved way of doing it. The easy fix is, you can see here, there's the suggestion of some funny smoothing going on. Because it's not a 90-degree angle, the smoothing kicks in. So what I do, find it. Where will I find it? So I think I've selected all of that. Oh, I've selected all of them, but that's fine. That's probably what I want to do. And I'm going to delete and paste, and that's uncoupled it. So the top bits might look a bit funny, but when I've imported it, and you can see how painfully slow this process is. I'm going to re-import it now. This now has about 34,000 triangles, 78,000 vertices. Now the vertices is a very large number because of the way that Lightwave doesn't create big islands of UVs, so it makes it less efficient to draw. Anyway, so it's re-imported, and you can now see that that's more sharply defined, but doesn't have that crud at the edge. And now I'm going to go to time-lapse when I'm going to build this. Bye-bye. Hey, so I've built it, and you can see immediately there's a huge difference there. There's that horrible, those scratchy lines are indicative of a smoothing problem, which can be solved as for that one, though it will then get sharp edges. There may be another way around that, but anyway, I'm not getting to that just yet. But you can see that there is a smooth transition on all the sides for the light map, and the top blends in absolutely fine with the rest of it. So you can see that just a little tweak to the light map can make things look a whole lot better when they're baked, and everything is kind of up for grabs with that. Everything can be improved. So again, the inside of that window has been sliced there and there, rather than kept as a single UV island, which would be more sensible. As it happens, I have been unable to get Lightwave to easily turn that into a single island. I have to kludge it and then manually move things around sometimes, which is a pain in the arse. So I think basically my conclusion is, again, I hate Lightwave, but it does a lot of what I need. I know people have worked very hard on it, I'm sure. I've got no beef with the developers. Thank you for making a wonderful program. It does a lot of things very well. It just happens to infuriate me, and I just get petty and vindictive when things don't work. So there we go. And I think that's it. So hopefully speak soon. Bye.